Ladies and gentlemen, this is Barrier Wolf, and welcome back to a brand new Destiny 2 beta video. My last 48 hours have been spent soaking up the PvE and PvP content available in the Destiny 2 beta. Pretty much been eating, sleeping, striking, and slaying. I have a lot I want to talk about overall as the beta rolls on in terms of the PvP meta and strategies to succeed in Destiny 2's revamped 4v4 Crucible, especially tricks that people who didn't extensively play Destiny 1 may not be aware of, but today I wanted to take a little bit of time to give my thoughts on the beta as a whole. So first things first, this beta has been presented and received a bit differently than Destiny 1. Instead of a handful of story missions and access to large areas that ended up constituting a large portion of the game, this time we get one story mission, Homecoming, which takes us through the destroyed battlefield that was once the tower. The mission felt masterfully crafted, grabbing my attention from the very beginning with the banner between Ikora and Cayde, and maintaining that initial momentum all the way through to the finish with multiple high-quality cutscenes, and a short conversation with Gary himself, as he kicks you off to what I'd wager is the start of Destiny 2 proper. There isn't too much to say on the intricacies of Homecoming. I enjoyed myself from start to finish, and I felt content in my Destiny 2 first story impressions. If Bungie can maintain that level of storytelling momentum throughout the entire campaign, I see a riveting experience ahead that I can't wait to get my hands on. The strike was more of a mixed bag, with Bungie displaying lots of positive improvements to the strike presentation as a whole, but while also falling into some familiar pitfalls hardcore Destiny fans may be all too familiar with. The expansive vista that we touched down on for the Inverted Spire is without a doubt one of the most impressive visual treats that we've seen Bungie do in the Destiny franchise, period. And the sprawling verticality combined with the rapid acceleration of the man cannons gave me a real sense of movement through a world that felt large and mostly untamed. There was a lot to look at that I didn't necessarily have to go to, and it was awesome. I felt a surge of nostalgia that reminded me of Bungie's Halo-esque map design that I really missed in the original Destiny, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I also enjoyed the revamped design for the Vex and the Cabal, with Bungie adding some of what I would call quality of life improvement to the way that we engage these enemies. For example, the Cabal now have a critical area on their backs, with a slightly lower multiplier than the head, so you still do more damage to the head than to the back, but this makes it much easier to still tactically approach a Cabal that may be facing away from you, perhaps engaging a teammate. In Destiny 1, their bulky builds made it kind of a bunch of nonsense to try and hit consistent headshots from behind. Also, the Minotaurs have a weak spot now, so, that's cool. Just more damage to Minotaurs, it's always good. Unfortunately, most of the positives for me concerning the strike were focused on the aesthetics of the strike, instead of the mechanics of the strike itself. Progressing through a strike after playing it, say, 5 times, involved a pattern of run past most enemies until you hit a Vex wall, where you kill all the mobs in the room and you continue. After which, you run past a bunch more enemies until you hit another area where you're required to kill a couple of Cabal Majors. Then you run past another cadre of mobs until you have to wait in a room where waves of Cabal attack you, while a timer ticks up to 100% before you're allowed to leave. I'm sure you're seeing my point by now. It's not bad, but it's nothing we necessarily haven't seen before. The boss was fun, not too spongy, pretty challenging to new and veteran players alike, and the arena was dynamic, it was fairly engaging, and like the rest of the strike, it was a ton of fun to look at. I would have liked to see some team-focused objectives like we've seen in the boss encounters from the revamped Nexus strike, or the Echo Chamber during the fight with the Inverted Spire boss. I wouldn't necessarily want the same thing as the aforementioned strikes, but their implementation in Destiny 1 shows that Bungie has the capability to make the fight more engaging than just shooting a boss when there aren't any mobs around, or the floor isn't on fire in the second phase of the boss fight, which was cool, by the way. However, I do have a strong feeling that the Inverted Spire may have been picked for its expansive qualities in order for Bungie to really test their server strain from the new netcode they're so excited about, and I have no doubts that when they do release Destiny, that their best content is waiting for us on release. So anything that I'm griping about in this strike, I am going to assume is contained in this strike itself. I don't think this represents everything that Bungie has for us on the whole. So the Crucible. the Crucible. Oh man. Short story. I love it, and the focus is indeed on gun skill and teamwork, just like Bungie purported in their interviews with the Crucible development team. The meta has most definitely shifted away from Destiny 1's one-shots and ability spam, and the action is always fast-paced and frantic, yet very, very tactical. 4v4 game modes combined with the excellent map design of Endless Vale and Midtown make for a tense, really exciting match, and action is always right around the corner, but it's not in your face enough to be oppressive, like off of spawns and getting camped and such like that. But you don't have to look very far to find a fight. It's always there waiting for you. Choosing your gunfights and engagements is more important than having an ability cooldown, so you don't necessarily feel naked if you miss a grenade, which are in short supply during a match. Like, you don't get that many. But if you have one cooled down, grenades can be used for offensive or defensive strategies to best your opponent. Cool heads, tactical approaches, and a steady hand will win you the day in this new Crucible, one that I plan on spending a lot of time in. I don't want to go too deep into the Crucible's mechanics in this video, since after this is up, I'm immediately preparing a Destiny 2 beta Crucible strategy guide, which is going to cover the ins and outs of the new Crucible meta to get you the tools for those sick multi-kills and those long kill streaks. Like, I'm talking efficiency, like, over the 2s and 3s. The sky's the limit if you start to put your head into the new Crucible game and learn good habits and get rid of the bad ones from Destiny 1. I'm really excited about detailing some little things that you can do to tweak your gameplay and really take your decision-making skills and therefore your slaying skills to the next level. Because everyone wants to hear all the new stuff that Shaxx has to say. So let's get those tools of the trade running for you so you can get him to start talking to you. Well, that's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Consider dropping a like or a sub if you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one.
We pulled it out! I think we lost. Oh. Well, we won. Barely. Ooh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I did not do good there. Oh, ouch.
Oh, to victory.
Think they'd mind if we take their pikes?
Oh, hey guys, I'm starting a channel. You want to subscribe?